Did you know that the Battle of Verdun became a symbol of French resilience during World War I? Stick around to uncover how this pivotal moment defined the fate of nations and the lives of millions. In the early 20th century, Europe was teetering on the brink of conflict, with national tensions simmering and alliances forming like storm clouds on the horizon. By 1914, these alliances had created two major factions, the Allies and the Central Powers, led by countries like France, Germany, and Austria-Hungary. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria on June 28, 1914, set off a chain reaction. This act, carried out by Serbian nationalist Gavrilo Princip, led Austria-Hungary to declare war on Serbia, quickly dragging in allies from both sides and igniting World War I. As the war began, the Western Front quickly became a brutal landscape characterized by trench warfare. By the end of 1914, both the French and German armies had established a continuous line of trenches, stretching from the North Sea to Switzerland, marking the start of a deadly stalemate. France was deeply determined to defend its land and honor, especially as the memory of the Franco-Prussian War still lingered. As news of heavy fighting reached home, many joined the military, fueled by patriotism and the belief they would quickly achieve victory. As the war dragged into 1916, a pivotal battle loomed on the horizon, the Battle of Verdun. Both German and French high commands recognized its symbolic significance, with Germany seeking to bleed France white and France vowing that they would hold Verdun at all costs. The stage was set for one of the most iconic battles in World War I. The Battle of Verdun would become synonymous with suffering and sacrifice, as the French forces braced for an extended conflict that would leave a lasting mark on their national identity. On February 21, 1916, the Battle of Verdun began, igniting a brutal confrontation between German and French forces. The Germans aimed to capture Verdun, a fortified city, believing that its fall would force the French to sue for peace and significantly weaken their morale. The German strategy was to conduct a relentless assault on French positions, with General Erich von Falkenhayn believing that attrition would be the key to victory. The Germans surrounded Verdun with artillery, setting the stage for a conflict that would drag on for months. The French, under General Philippe Pétain, vowed, "They shall not pass," as a rallying cry for their troops. Recognizing the symbolic importance of Verdun, the French military command made it a priority to defend the city at all costs, regardless of the inevitable casualties. As the battle commenced, both sides faced unimaginable conditions. Soldiers contended with treacherous trench warfare, artillery barrages, and grotesque injuries, as the scale of suffering and loss became increasingly apparent. Daily life in the trenches transformed into a nightmare. April saw the French forces begin to push back against the German onslaught, but the cost was staggering. The battles at Verdun became a war of attrition, ravaging both armies as casualties soared into the hundreds of thousands, an estimated 700,000 to 975,000 combined by the end of the conflict. Despite the heavy bombardments and fierce fighting, neither side gained a decisive advantage, exemplifying the futility of attrition warfare. By December, after 10 months of enduring agony, the battle ended with heavy losses, but Verdun remained standing. The aftermath of the Battle of Verdun left deep scars on both the land and its people. While France stood resolute, the losses incurred were immense, with around 350,000 French soldiers killed or wounded, significantly impacting local communities and family structures. Conversely, the German forces also faced a staggering toll, with estimates of around 300,000 soldiers killed or injured. The German military leadership was shocked at the level of attrition, realizing that their initial strategies had not yielded the expected results. The battle had also redefined French national identity, solidifying a sense of unity and camaraderie among its citizens. The phrase "they shall not pass" became a rallying cry, inspiring future generations to remember the bravery of those who fought during the siege. In the long term, the Battle of Verdun had repercussions that would echo throughout the rest of World War I. It exemplified the brutal realities of trench warfare and the devastating effects of attrition, influencing military strategies in the engagements that followed. As the war continued, the horrors witnessed at Verdun served as a cautionary tale for commanders. Both sides became increasingly aware that the cost of victory could translate to immense human suffering, leading to a reevaluation of military tactics in future battles. Ultimately, Verdun became a symbol of French courage and sacrifice. It was commemorated in numerous memorials and monuments throughout France, serving as a constant reminder of the sacrifices made during a time of extreme turmoil and hardship. The Battle of Verdun, which lasted from February 21 to December 18, 1916, became a defining moment in World War I, showcasing the extreme lengths nations would go to uphold their honor and territories. This protracted battle demonstrated the stubbornness and immense human cost associated with trench warfare, leaving both sides crippled by staggering casualties. Following the battle, both the French and German armies faced severe troop shortages and mental fatigue. Many soldiers returned home, grappling with the traumas of war, not easily forgotten as they transitioned back to civilian life. As the months passed, the impact of Verdun lingered deep within French society. The losses suffered affected entire towns and families, leading to a lost generation, as young men were wiped out in vast numbers, altering the population dynamics of France. The battle also instigated a shift in military tactics and the use of technology on the battlefield. As commanders witnessed the tolls of attrition, they began to adapt their strategies, seeking alternatives to the costly frontal assaults that had characterized much of World War I. In the years that followed, Verdun stood not only as a site of fierce conflict, but also as a place of pilgrimage and national reflection for the French. The echoes of battle became integrated into the national narrative, influencing cultural memory and collective consciousness. Finally, as World War I came to a close in 1918, the ramifications of the Battle of Verdun could be felt across the political landscape of Europe. The sacrifices made by both sides contributed to the fractious peace negotiations that followed, reshaping national borders and causing lingering resentments.